Good morning, this is 4046 and hoping to make a few videos this week. It'll probably only be roughly about two, but it's a bit more content than I've recently been doing. Got back into doing my regular job and unfortunately it's taken up a lot of time. This is the first few days I've had in a row off, and it's nice to actually catch my breath, as it's been pretty hard going, getting back into the routine of shifts, etc. The only reward is that the rest days that you get are possibly more than you get on a regular Monday to Friday job. And some of the shifts are longer, so you get more rest days as a result of the hours that you've done. The main thing I can report though is since I've got back, my blood pressure has finally returned back to normal. I am no longer in hypertension. Now, as I've probably already explained in other videos, there's hypertension 1 and 2. I was in hypertension 2, which means that there's more at risk of getting a heart attack or a stroke. The big problem with high blood pressure is it causes you, well, it doesn't cause you much at all. It's what they call the silent undoer. Try not to use the words because of the algorithm. Anyhow, without the troubles of last year and with feeling a bit more relaxed and having a bit more of a positive mental attitude, I pretty much do one day at a time, as most of you do. Those that would know me probably quite surprised that my blood pressure's returned to, well, nominal, or at least nominal for me. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about, strangely enough, reading books. Now, ever since reading Peter Hamilton's Judas Unchained series, I believe that's what it's called, it put me off. Now, to put in context, the first book is absolutely enormous. We're talking about 1400 pages, so they're talking about something, I think that's actually longer than Stephen King's The Stand. And as much as I enjoyed reading it, I couldn't reach the end because they could have ended the book in a number of ways, but it just kept going on and on and on, almost like for content purpose, and that put me off reading books for a while. I've always read a great many works of fiction. Most of them, as you know all by now, is science fiction. My main attempt now is to try and read the 7 or 8 different books that I've got part of the way through and not reached the end. So in the next 2 or 3 months I'm going to try and get through all of them and have a nice clean slate, so that any other book I buy, I can just start off immediately and do beginning till end. Most of these books are not on audio books, so I can't cheat that way. I also met recently Dom Jolly, who was doing a promotion of his book, The Conspiracy Tourist, at my local theatre, and it was quite enjoyable. Sadly, it was on Halloween, so the attendance wasn't quite as much as I would have imagined it being, but the theatre itself was absolutely fine. I've been there before, previously having seen Garth Marenghi there do Terror Tomb, which was quite it was better than I expected it to be. Now with Dom Jolly's a very different kind of guy. He is famous for doing Trigger Happy TV in 2000 and a little known follow-up series which he did in 2017. These can all be found on My4. It was originally called 4 On Demand, but they changed it to My4, and it was quite an enjoyable night really. It was quite amusing. He was telling me excerpts, or telling us excerpts from his book, and he is a skeptic, but you know, is like some conspiracy theories aren't conspiracy theories, especially when they're true. Like, for example, the documents that got misfiled and were found in admin for MK Ultra, which is a little known experiment which I may talk about at a later date, as MK Ultra is quite a sinister scheme, and there's a lot of unwitting participants, and probably because they couldn't agree for people to do said things, that's why it was unwitting, because it was like an unsaid thing, or unsaid agreement. Many things came out of MK Ultra. Most of it was the good old Cold War mind control style affair, but there was a lot more to it. Now, I know you've probably got the same issues I've got, but so I finally decided to knock them on the head, because 7 on the go at once is not good. I mean, I can remember most of where I got to with all of them, but it's not good just to leave one uncompleted. Also, thank you for reaching out to me. You know who you are, and you've convinced me, I suppose, more to get these books on the go and get reviews and things done on them. As I said before, I've just started reading it again. I've read this once already, read it in the past, but that was a long time ago. It's one of the better books in the series, but I can't. There's bits of it I can't remember because it was so long ago that I read it. I mean, we're talking about 20 plus years ago, so even a bit more than that actually, because I think I was a late teenager when I read that. I can remember bits of it, but I can't remember all of it. So it's one of the stronger novels. Gianna Kavalos is definitely one of the better writers for B5 books. It won't just be B5 books. There'll be many science fiction titles, but there's also be The Conspiracy Tourist, which is rather amusing. If you've seen Trigger Happy TV, with Dom Jolly being the major piece of the show, the first series he does with some other gentleman who is on the things with him, and that it's just random things. It's skit to skit to skit, but they are quite funny because sometimes he does push it a little bit. Things like when he pretends to be a park warden, or a grizzled sailor, or sea captain, or having a massive billboard saying "Do not trust this man" in the street, and him standing directly underneath it, and then telling some passerby a complete lie. It's not malicious in any way, shape, or form, but it is quite amusing, and he follows up some of the conspiracy theories in his book, The Conspiracy Tourist. I was able to get a selfie and get the book signed, and I will possibly share these when I do a review on that, because that's, I think, book number 8 that I've added to the pile, which isn't impressive, to say the least. So going forward, I want to do some more book reviews. I'd like to do a collab with the guy that reached out to me, and I would also like to do more collabs on various other things, because mine isn't just book reviews. There are YouTubers that just do purely book reviews, but I do many different things, as you all know. So yeah, this is the first video of the week, should I say, or Sunday anyway. And the next one I will try to get my done tomorrow or the day after. Thank you for spending the time. Please like, please subscribe, as I do appreciate your subscriptions. I would like to possibly reach maybe 80 by the end of this year. It's not much, but one little steps at a time. Thank you for spending your time. Thank you for viewing my videos. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so. And this is 4046 out. Wherever you are, whenever you are, have a great day, and make the most of, be the best possible version of yourself that you can be.